All right. Good morning, everyone. I did the time to set up the first attempt at this, and then it said live streaming unavailable. So here I am, try number two. I'm hoping this is working and that everybody finds me. Good morning. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024. We only have a few more days until Halloween. I hope everybody that's working on costumes is nearing completion or is done. I finished the slow stitching on the teddy bear, and I promised Dale that I wouldn't do any stitching on my bear, but I did upload a couple just really short tips to be in as an addendum to Dale's wonderful video from, well, she put it up last night, but I watched it this morning while cooking breakfast for Scott. So if you want to see what those two tips are, you have to watch those two shorts. They're just real short. That's why they're called shorts. So I wanted to pull this back out because I know Heather's ready to put her bag together and all. I still have a bunch of slow stitching to do on this. So I thought I'd come on and chit chat with you all this morning and work at stitching my little flowers on. This one's all stitched down there. And I see I've set the heart, but the centers of each one has a little heart on it. And I still need to finish that one. And then I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more flowers. So I'm going to focus on stitching on this and we can just chat a bit. And I'm trying to attach each segment with a different stitch. I'm going to fold this and clip it out of the way. Good morning, Brenda. I saw you were having some trouble last night in Mary's, either being seen or something, but everybody was going, Brenda, are you still out there? So I don't know what was going on. I was in and out. I got my books moved out of this room into the bedroom we're using currently. And I am going to line this with something else, I think, because I'm afraid using this bag would be difficult with all the stitching on it, which is okay. It'll just be a really thick bag. Good morning, yawn, Heather says. Dale was talking about hopping on a train to visit her son for a week, son and her brother. To take a train out of here, you have to go to the Amtrak station downtown at like 1 o'clock in the morning, because that's when the train stops here in this area. There's only one stop in Columbia. And so anytime Greg has ever taken the train, like up to Maryland or anything, we've had to drop him off in the middle of the night and then pick him up in the middle of the night. And he went to visit some friends one time in the winter. And of course, it was the winter, the trains got all stuck in Chicago. So they couldn't get out of Chicago. They were snowed in. And so it took Greg forever to get home. And I think he ended up having to get stuck on a train that dropped him hundreds of miles away. And then the train company, Amtrak, paid for him to take a taxi from the train station all the way to our house, which had to have cost them a fortune. But it was wonderful that they did that. I'm going to bring you guys closer so I'm not stretching my arms. There we go. That's a little better. I got a good thick needle to go through all these layers. Greg just left for work. So now, of course, Cole's like, I want to go back out in the bonus room. He's going to have to just wait. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, they were looking for you. They were looking for you. They're like, "Is she still here? Brenda, are you out there?" And I'm like, "I bet she's gone. Something must have happened." It'll all work out in the end. Oh, a hayride. That sounds like so much fun. I haven't been on a hayride since I was probably about 15, 16. And my cousin Jim was driving the tractor that was pulling the hay wagon. Everybody took turns. It was a bunch of teenagers, so of course we took turns telling scary stories. As teenagers like to do. They like to scare the hell out of each other. You came back and didn't even know you were lost or missing. That's wonderful. Well, it's good you weren't lost or missing. I'm going to take that pin out. And what did I do with the hedgehog? So I'm just going to stitch these down for a while. I saw that Janet Nash will be back live today. Look at my hedgehog, because I went and I found all those unfinished projects and I went ahead and took the pins out. Look how many pins are in the hedgehog. It makes me giggle every time I see the little hedgehog with all those pins in him. And Dale said I should name my bear Belle because she looks like a bluebell. And I thought that was a neat idea. So I'm going to stitch on this when I need a break from moving stuff around. And I don't know if Anne's up yet. You took yours to the haunted maze. Oh, wow. We have a house of horrors that a local group puts on it each year. I don't know if they're doing it this year. I have not been out and about much. So I do know that the restaurant that I spoke about caught on fire the other night, and they've got a total loss of their production facility, or distribution. It burned to the ground, which I felt really bad. It's like, is this because I mentioned them in that video? But it's under investigations, it says. And I do. I was going to say I don't have my thread here, but I do. This is another reason to use a liner to hide all my boo-boos. Got my thread bits. This jar is getting pretty full. And Dale said she's going to put some of her thread inside her teddy bear. I thought that was a cool idea. All right, now we'll flip this back. And we're going to put this heart here back in place. And then I'll stitch it down with something. Let's see what we've got here. And I'm not going to stitch them down all the same. I'm going to use different stitches. Temi Twisted Zones. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Brenda says they took us old people first while the kids were playing games. Some teens went with us and were dropped off so they could scare the kids when they went. Oh, gosh. Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday simply because you don't have to get uptight about whose house you're going to go to for meals. There's no gift giving, so you don't have to worry about whether what you're giving is going to be acceptable or not. And there's just no stress with it. It's just fun. And Scott will be working on Halloween. He teaches that night. So I'm not sure if I'll hand out candy or not because we don't get very many kids. We might get 1 or 2 kids. Oh, thank you. This is a project we started a while ago, and I'm still stitching on it. I need to know how to self-edit. That's all there is to it. I need to figure out how to self-edit. I think I'm going to use some to go with this turquoise, maybe a little bit of corally color. That could be pretty. So we'll get some of this off here. And I'm just using 2 strands of the DMC in these. So now that I'm done slow stitching on Erndale's Dale, her teddy bear project, I thought I'd pull this back out so we could get this finished. And we're going to put a zipper in it. There's one. And there's 2. Put them back together. Good morning, Angie. The amount of stitching I load up on here. I did a video on my teddy bear that I've been working on with Dale at Erndale's. And that thing is basically encrusted with stitching, lace, beadwork. In fact, I keep thinking I'd love to add some beadwork to these flowers. But I don't know. Maybe do stamens and then have beads at the top. That's fine. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, let's, what do we want to do here on here? Maybe blanket stitch around this bear? No, I'm still thinking bear. It's not bear, it's a heart. So I'm just going to go in to the outer edge of the heart. Too far out. The planes have started taking off from the Columbia airport. I can hear them. Getting ready to take everybody that has to travel out of town up to Charlotte or down to Atlanta. They call our airport an international airport, but nobody internationally lands there until they've landed somewhere else first. Let's see. I make many varied crafts. I will have to check you out after I sign off. I'll come back when the chat has processed and go to your channel and check you out. I don't have any mods here this morning, which is unusual. Do a little blanket stitch. I do a variety of crafts too. I also share home improvement DIY stuff that my husband and I do. I had really hoped that he would kind of get on board with his channel. He is has a channel of his own, and I was hoping we'd move all the kind of home repair type stuff. Hi, Safia. Hi, Becky. Glad to find you live. Just finished cleaning the bathroom. Oh, that's on my list for today is clean the bathroom. It's moving all the dang bottles. Yep. Vicky is lurking. It's kind of early for Vicky anyway. Probably early for a lot of you. Well, you should jump on and just do, even if you do just a short video, it'll get your channel up and going if that's what you want to do. Hi, Ian. Ian, have you watched Dale's video yet? I did a short about the part we missed. I didn't realize we were supposed to, there's some dots we were supposed to sew on the bottom of the body. Sew between them to create 2 holes for the legs. And I just did a short to kind of show you where those dots were. And then I did another one to show what I'm doing to keep track of the left and the right side because I can see how that could get easily confusing. So I'm like, ooh, safety pins to the rescue. But anyway, I'll get back to what I was saying. I'm just all over the place because I'm trying to do 4 things at once here. My channel we do sewing stuff, quilting stuff, art stuff, card making, cooking, DIY, gardening. I do a little of everything. Whatever I'm doing, that's what you guys will see. But I'm not one to go out in public and videotape. I'm not comfortable doing that. Sometimes I will do like pictures at like an event or something, take pictures and then do a photo slideshow. You were watching a new series on Paramount Plus. I got Paramount Plus just so I could watch Criminal Minds. It's hard to talk and stitch. And I am kind of toying with the idea of pulling out, after I get the stitching all done, pulling out my ink tints and maybe just going around my flowers to just kind of bring them out a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I have a bunch of flowers to sew in. Why are you acting weird? What is the problem here? There we go. It got a little discombobulated. Oh, and now I've unthreaded myself. Durr. Got to watch my time. And I was a little confused about what time Janet Nash is coming on. Something about the time change. And I don't know if she's going to be on at 9 Eastern like she's been, or if I was just a little confused. So Janet, if you're up and out there, pop in and say what time you're going to be on. And Dee Dee comes on at her normal time, which is, I think, 8:30. So I won't go any later than about 8:15 if I do that. She's regular time for us. Okay. Thank you, Heather. I'm so excited. She's going to do a Q&A on her trip to Africa. So that'll be fun. And if you're new and you don't know who Janet Nash is, you should subscribe to Janet Nash. She comes on every Monday live, and then she puts up videos a couple other days of the week. And she's just wonderful. We just love our Janet Nash. And she has fairies that live on her table that do art along with her. And I'm sure Flo Fairy is going to have some stories of her own, as well as her other little fairy. They've both been traveling too. Oh, you're up in New York. Cool. I grew up in Green, New York. Well, actually, Smithville Center, New York, but on a dairy farm. But Green was where I went to school. So, yeah. Near Binghamton, not too far from Binghamton. It's between Binghamton and Norwich. That I can't answer. If it's regular time for us, she'll be on in about 2 hours. She put a message on her community tab. Janet did. I'm sure she'll have photographs to share and everything. She put up some shorts or videos from Africa, and she saw, let's see, she saw gorillas and she saw giraffes and elephants and lions. Boy, that's thick to go through there. And I'm not sure if I missed something else, but those are the ones I saw. And how fun it is to have somebody that lives there as your guide to talk to you about, and give their perspective of life there. And Piper, why are you growling? I have to turn it so I can get it where I need. Oh, thank you, Safia. There's Janet's channel. And she does all kinds of stuff on her channel, Janet does. And we can't forget Freddie. Freddie is her dog. And he is such a precious boy. He sits on the chair behind her and just looks adorable. He is I think a lab mix. Mixes are the best. I have a full-blooded Cocker Spaniel, and she's just dumb. She's just dipsy as all get out. She's a blonde through and through. They used to call them dumb blondes, but I don't think all blondes are dumb. It's just an old saying. Oh, you're waiting for someone that does Bible devotions? Well, you're free to go when she comes on or does it up. Everybody does what works for them. All right. And so when you get back around, if you go up under that first stitch that kind of lays at an angle and just go under it, and you can pull it in line with your last stitch, and then you can't hardly tell where you started. That's the key to getting your blanket stitch to look like goes all the way around. Let's see if I can get this back here. And then we'll tie a knot, make sure I don't have any booger on the front. And I'm just going to go under a little bit of the fabric, wrap it about 2 or 3 times, pull it through, and bam, you have a knot. And then I like to bury the tail a little bit in the layers. And this mess back here is why I'm going to line my bag. So that one's done. So now we need to, I'll keep this pink thread and we'll just keep using it till it's gone. Let's move to another flower. And I love these really long clips. I don't know where I got these. Maybe they came in a package of something else. I'm going to fold this over a little bit and use a couple clips on it just to fold it out of the way. And I have another one here somewhere. Maybe. Thought I did. I can't really fold this much because I have a bunch of pins in it, but I'm going to clip it so it doesn't flop out of my way. No, Tippy. No, go get in your basket. I'm being surrounded by cats. Oh no, you lost it, Yarn Chicken. Oh no. Let's see. So I'm going to take the layers off the flower and get down to the last one here. So we'll put the heart over here. And then I'll get these 2 layers and we'll set them aside. I need to let Piper go back out because she's having a fit. Tippy's having a fit. I'm coming. Come on, guys. Let's go to the bonus room. I'm sorry, Greg had to go to work. You're looking for Greg. Oh, let me tell you what happened to my son. He came in Friday, and he was still shaking. He came home early. I guess either they ran out of work or they just let him go because of what happened. Not let him go as in fired him or anything, but just to let him chill. But he was up on a scissor lift. If you guys don't know, that's that thing that it's got like scissors on it, and it just raises up and goes way up, so you can go like to the top of a warehouse. Well, he was up on one of those, and he said he heard it go, and then all this hydraulic fluid went shooting across the warehouse, and all of a sudden the whole platform slammed down and jarred the daylights out of him. It's a wonder he's not. I'm just so glad he wasn't hurt, because that could have gone so badly. And they were going to get on the people that are supposed to maintain that equipment. So I told him today, no accidents today. He said, it's not my fault. I said, I know it's not, but my mama heart needs a break. I'm just going to do a running stitch on this time. Yeah, scared the daylights out of me. He said, Mom, I was just shaking. Just his hand was just going like that. Yeah. And, he goes full extension on those sometimes. So he's like, it's like this, moving like that. Those things aren't really stable once they're completely, put all the way at the full height. I'm going to have to go in and out to get the stitch I want, because this piece is so small. These are raw edged, applique down. I'm just doing raw edges. As this thing wears, I'm sure they'll fray like the dickens, but I'm just not going to worry about it. I was just thankful he wasn't, hurt really bad or killed. That would have been the end of me. Oh, you had a bad incident at a Walmart? I hadn't heard about it, because we don't watch the news. We just read whatever news headlines come up on our local news station. Yeah. These facilities just, people say people don't want to work. Well, they don't want to be killed. And that's why there's regulations, and they're there to protect you. They're not there to do anything else. They're to protect you. I don't understand why people want to deregulate everything. Without regulations, there's no safety precautions. There's nobody to care about whether your son, your daughter get killed at a job. So I don't get it. I'm sorry. I know that sounds political, but I just think it's ridiculous to think deregulation is the way to go. The regulations are there to protect us, to keep safety in the workplaces. You should be able to go to work and not fear for your life. All right. That's stitched down. Oh, let me see. Oh my God, that's awful. Oh, my heart just aches for her parents. It's awful. Poor girl. And at the very start of her life, too, that 18 to 25 years is so hard because you have to let them go to be adults, but you still love them dearly. And oh man, it's hard enough letting them go whew. All right, I'm going to get a different color, not yarn, but I'm going to leave my piece I pulled off there. Let's see. So I'm going to take this over here, pin it out of the way. And this one I'll put back on my flower. And I'm going to give them a little bit more character, maybe turn that a little bit. Oh my goodness, how scary. Let's use some yellow. Uh-oh, wait a minute. There's more here I can get if I need it. Yeah, me and Heights, I don't get along either. And after we did the roof on, the old shed we have out back, I told Scott, I said, we're done with the roofing business. We'll pay somebody to do any more roofing because he had to get up there and he's 65 and that's just too much. Too much. Hopefully we won't have to replace any more roofs because this one on this house here is not bad. And we don't need anything else to break. All right, so I'm going to do X's, I think, on this. So I'll go down here. Come up and go back down over here. Yep. Because of what's going on with our house, I'm probably not even going to try to put up anything. Something about having the floors ripped up down the full center of your house all the way to the ground just doesn't. It doesn't sound like that would go well with trying to decorate for Christmas. So I'm just probably not going to do that. Oh, I have a story. I guess I could share it here. Yesterday we did our weekly visit to Scott's mom, and she said your bowl's in there from her birthday gathering. I had made a Brussels sprout and cabbage coleslaw with a honey mustard dressing. And so she said, your bowl is there. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, well, did Adele take the rest of the pie home with her? I was looking for my pie plate and it was nowhere. I looked in the refrigerator. And she looked in her cabinet thinking maybe she just put it away where she puts the dishes. I couldn't find it. And then I sat back down at her kitchen table, and then she goes, "Oh, could it be in the oven?" This is a thing she does. She stores food in the oven. I have never done that. I have never stored food in the oven. But anyway, that's where my pie plate was. Well, this is what, a week ago? And all of the desserts apparently had gotten shoved in the oven. Well, I pull it out, and she opens it, and she's, "Oh, it's still good." You guys, the number of fruit flies that came flying out from under that foil. And then I look, and it's just covered in mold. And I'm like, no, it's not good. I took it right outside and I pitched it into the bushes. And I'm like, don't eat anything out of the out of the oven. Don't put stuff in there. She's, "Oh, I do it all the time." And I'm like, well, please stop. But she won't. She's done it all her life, and she's 97 years old. So, but anyway, I was just so grossed out. I told Scott, I said, I think that's a Southern thing, because I don't remember my grandmother ever putting things in the oven, to hold it. I just, this is awkward as all get out. Maybe I could clip it like this, get some of this bulk out of my way. Maybe doing little X's on this was not a good idea. It looks cute. I know I'm doing them in the wrong order. There is a specific way to do the cross stitches, but as long as I do it the same way all the way around, it'll be fine. Yeah, we have dry rot for that, something similar. The when we weren't living here, our son was living here on his own, and he would keep the air conditioner at like 60 degrees. And so the ventilation, and I did that wrong, the ventilation sweat like crazy. And what it did is it ended up, the subflooring all dry rotted. And so now we've got to do between $20,000 and $30,000 worth of repairs, and they're going to rip up my floor, and they have to replace some of the sill. They have to replace some of the joist, and 20 sheets of subflooring has to go down. And this all has to be done in December. The guy told me it'll be 1 to 2 weeks, if not longer, depending on what they come across when they start getting things ripped up. And it might cost more than the estimate, of course. So that was just an estimate. It'd be nice if they could give us a cash discount. If we pay with cash, will you give us a discount? I'm thankful Scott saved money all those years, because this is not something we had planned to spend. That's for dang sure. So I'm going to stitch on this for a little while. I did my laundry yesterday, so I'd have my morning free today. And yeah, so I'm going to keep stitching on this for a while. And what time do we have now? It's 7:30, so I can go for another hour. Becky, my great aunt, my grandma's unmarried sister-in-law, was beastie to Granny while she constantly. Yeah, well, Scott's mom, she wants to stay in her house as long as possible. Our biggest fear is she lives in a tri-level, and we fear she will fall down those stairs, and that will do her in that way, or just falling down the stairs will do her in. But she insists. She is using her cane all the time now, which is good because she's really unstable. So I'm glad she's finally using it all the time. And poor thing just gets shorter and shorter. Her spine has compressed so much. She just gets shorter and shorter. I told Scott, I said, she's lost about 20 pounds too. Because, I go with her to her doctor, and I saw that she'd lost about 20 pounds. So, yeah. Yeah, my mother, well, when we had the hurricane came through and took all those trees out and there was no power, my brother-in-law was finally able to empty the freezers, because uh, she has a spare refrigerator and a huge freezer out in her storage room that was full of stuff. And there was pork chops that were 10 years old in there and stuff. It's so sad. And she got upset that they were throwing out food, and it's okay. And it's like, it's been without power. It's not safe to eat. And he finally got that all cleared out. So that hurricane was kind of a blessing in that way, not so much for the poor people up in North Carolina and Tennessee that are just, it just seemed to be getting hit with one thing after another up there, and I feel so bad for them. There's Janet Nash. So, Janet Nash, will you be on at 9 o'clock my time? I was a little confused by your message on your community tab, but I just figured I'll just watch and listen for Janet to come on. So I'm just stitching on this. I'm kind of trying to give each flower its own character and doing different stitches on it. And I was going to see if Anne wanted to get together later to sew our bears together, because Dale has sewn them together. Sewn hers together. She did not stuff it. She said she'll do that in the next video. I watched that while I made Scott's breakfast this morning. So I've got my legs pinned in place, and I went ahead and did those tip videos on how to keep track of your left and right side and that kind of thing, because it is important that you mark one of the sides so everything ends up in the right place and you don't sew the legs on backwards and that kind of thing. You do have to pay attention. Don't want your bear walking backwards. But Dale's video is pretty good. Her bear is cute as can be. Yeah, I can't wait to get her sewn together. I do need to move this rack of my odds and ends to the back. Let me show you guys. Excuse my hair. All right, so you can see we're in a different orientation now, because that's the wall you used to see, and you can see the green bookshelf is gone. I moved that last night, and all those books, and then I still need to do the little bookcase back there. That's Greg's cookbooks. They're going to go in his bedroom, and all of that has to go out in the bonus room. And then over here, that's the unit I have to move to the back. But it's just popped together plastic, so it doesn't weigh anything. But just what's going to be time consuming, and I'm going to do like I did my bookshelf last night. I'm going to put stuff in like grocery totes and just get them loaded into the bags. And then I can just take one bag at a time and put my shelf back together in the back, just to get everything moved to the back. And then I've turned my table. That's why I'm facing this way now. And I still have some things on the outer wall and along over here by the kitchen. But I'm going to see how much more I truly need to move, because if I don't have to move it, I don't want to. So I'm going to see how much more the guy that's coming Wednesday evening says I have to move. So I'm getting that internal wall clear. That's the focus. And I got to do the same in the kitchen. Do you think they need to see how goofy you are? He's been... Gotta have a cat up there. He'll groom a little bit and then he starts acting crazy and just... I told him he's going to fall off the table. Didn't I? Didn't I say that? He says, I'm grooming right now, Mother. Oh, kisses. This is Howard, for anybody new. We call him Howie, don't we? He's very Howie Wowie. All right, back to stitching. Your bear is coming along slow. He'll be finished about February. Oh, yeah. Well, it's slow stitch, so take your time. It'll get done when it gets done, right? I usually will put, some kind of... I'll find a television series or something like that to watch while I slow stitch. I'm really basically just listening. Becky, I missed why the floor needs to be replaced. Okay, so when Greg was living here by himself, he kept the air conditioner at like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And what ended up happening is it created a damp atmosphere that created dry rot. So our subfloor and some of our joists and sills have dry rot in them so bad the floors are weak and they'll give when you step on them. They're squishy. So, and in the hallway, it creaks. It's really bad in the hallway. And the worst part is right there in the kitchen, where we used to have a little kitchen table, which we got rid of the kitchen table because I didn't want to sit there anymore and listen to the floor creak. So they're going to rip all of the floors up, and we'll have to put new flooring down ourselves because we're not going to pay them to do the reflooring. The flooring that's in here, we had overbought. So we actually have some of this flooring left, a bunch of this flooring left out in one of the sheds. And we're hoping it's good enough that we can just, whatever the damage ripping it up, we'll just replace it. And we put this floor down so we can put a new one, we'll fix it, in other words. And, oops, sorry. Then we're thinking about just rolled vinyl for the kitchen. And Scott assured me that we'll be able to do it. It'll be fine. Well, dealing with that huge roll of vinyl, we'll probably have to rope Greg into helping us just to manage it. I don't think Scott really knows how heavy vinyl can be. And I definitely don't want to do those peel and stick tiles in a kitchen because I'm sorry, those things do not stick. I don't care what they say, they don't stick. I don't think I'll do X's on another one unless it's like right next to the edge of the piece, because this is difficult. So that's why we're having, and it goes from the wall that goes out to the bonus room, because the bonus room is on a concrete slab. So from that wall, and it goes all the way down the very center of our house into the hallway and right there by that wall. So it's basically in the center of the house. I hope that that's all they're going to rip up because that's all I'm planning on. But he's coming to do a walkthrough on Wednesday, and I'll find out more then. I keep messing these up because I'm trying to talk and do. I told everybody, Janet, that you were going to be talking about your trip this morning. And that will be exciting. We thoroughly enjoyed tagging along with you, seeing all those beautiful animals in the wild as they should be. X's go slower than a running stitch, that's for sure. So I will work steady on this after I get my bear sewn together. I want to get my bear sewn together, but I had promised Dale I wouldn't show that on here. Everybody has to go watch Dale's video. But I did do shorts on some tips on how to keep yourself straight when you because it is something to think about. You lay your bear all out and you got to make sure you get everything that's supposed to go on the left side and everything on the right side. And you got to make sure that everything's facing the direction it needs to. There are dots to help you with placement too. So you have to look at your pattern pieces, make sure you've marked all the dots. They really do help. And I'm running into an issue with mine, but I'm just going to do it the best I can. Apparently I didn't get my seam allowances completely even, so I've got a little bit of extra fabric that I'm just going to kind of tuck in and hope for the best. It's a teddy bear. Doesn't have to be dead on perfect, even though knowing my brain, it's going to bother me that it's not. And I also, at some point, I need to try to finish at least one more of my whips. I've already finished a couple, but I wanted to finish some more. That's why I haven't taken my sewing machine anywhere, because I need it. Well, we enjoyed what you shared, Janet. We really did. In fact, we would be at Craft and Chat on Thursdays in Anne's room, and we'd be saying, "Did you see Janet's video on the gorillas? Did you see Janet's video on the lions?" We had a blast traveling along with you. I'm going through a lot of layers here. And I'm thinking I'm going to need pliers to get through the layers to sew those arms and legs on that teddy bear, to be able to pull through all those layers. The only thing that worries me about using pliers is the teeth on pliers can damage the needle and put burrs on it. And I don't want to, I wonder if I've got some that have like Teflon teeth that I could use, maybe in my jewelry making, so that I don't damage my sewing needle. This is difficult. I keep saying that, but it is. There are a couple pins over here. So this is kind of reminding me of a sombrero coming around this edge here. And we've missed Colin. If anybody that's new, Colin is the cuckoo clock. We've missed Colin and Freddie and Flo and why can't I think of your other fairy's name this morning? Those fairies, they've been off flying about too. I can't remember her name. That's awful. I keep thinking I need to get me a fairy from Julia and have it sent, but I can't right now. Maybe once the house demolition and rebuild is done, I'll get me a fairy. I did that one completely wrong, but we're just not going to worry about it. Oh, Jennifer, that's it. Jennifer. I was thinking it starts with a J. It starts with a J. It starts with a J. But could my brain pick it up? No. I caught the tail end of Jill at Fiber Floozy last night. I signed off of Mary's thinking, I'm going to go straight to bed. And then I saw Jill was on and I went over there for a while. And then it was an hour later after I was flipping through reels. It's, reels are they are a real problem when you're sitting in bed. I ought to plug my phone in a different room so that I don't have it right there. They always tell you don't have any screens in your bedroom. You're supposed to sleep in there. But I was waiting on Scott to finish printing exams. He's giving a test tonight, so that means he'll probably have a short night because he'll do the exam and he only has, I think, 8 students now. So he'll do the exam and then they'll just go for the night. He'll give them a short night. He could just start on the next lesson, but he said, this class is so easy. They better all get A's. I was like, well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'm going to tie this off and get a fresh piece, but that's how it's looking. I love the little cross stitch on it. Yeah, and the back isn't as pretty as the front. Another reason to use a lining. I was going to use this purple as my lining. I might actually have more of this purple, so I could use it as a lining. This bag will be very durable, very thick. Get another little piece of yellow here. Hi, Kelly. Aw, she's got her tabby girl. I have Howie looking very dignified here in a basket. And Callie and Tippy have gone to sleep somewhere else. Oh, I got up this morning and I was hearing something strange. And we have a Bose music machine in the dining room to play CDs in. Well, she had turned it on, popped the CD compartment open, and took it off a radio station. So it was sitting in there sounding like somebody chewing on cardboard. And it was awful. And I was like, what is that noise? And then I realized the music machine was open and it was making all that racket. It was like on AM 1638. And it was just making an awful noise. And then I got to thinking, maybe that's the voices I heard at 3:15 this morning. Uh-oh, what have I done here? There we go. Because I was in my recliner, because I had a bad stomach last night. It was day one of the Ozempic shot. You always get a bad tummy. I bet that's what that was. I bet that's when she turned it on, because it was almost 3:30 and she wanted me up. I don't know where they get off thinking I need to be up at 3:30 in the morning, but apparently, the cats figure that's fine. And then Greg's cats are out in the bonus room again. I wish this wasn't quite so thick so I could just tilt my needle and come up, but because in and out is so much slower. And I did that wrong again. Oh, it's okay. This isn't a actual cross stitch where you do 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. All right, so I want to actually start up here. I had fun looking back through all my books last night when I moved my bookcase into the bedroom. Oh. Oh, Jerry's been doing some fun stuff. I think she's in process of moving back to PA from the beach. Once she gets settled back at the house, I'm sure she'll be putting up some new videos. I still want to do her circle project, but I need to I can't do everything, especially right now where I'm needing to focus on, clearing the center of the house. But, Scott's right. We need to have this fixed. And then when he wants to retire or when his mom passes away, we'll probably sell this house and either move to Virginia, West Virginia, or Tennessee to retire to. In the current Southern Living, they say Maryville, Tennessee is a wonderful place to retire to. I don't know. Let's see. See if I'm messing up the back. The back is pretty messed up anyway, Becky. Don't worry about it. I like that song. But I do a little something, I move something a little bit every day. I'm really kind of focusing on this room in particular because he said the worst damage is on either side of the fireplace. And I thought it was kind of ironic that where we have the heaviest load is on either side of the fireplace. So I was like, well, I'll start moving the books and stuff. But once I get this other shelf here moved, I want to work on redoing Greg's bedroom and try to get him to sleep back in his own room. He's been sleeping out in the bonus room with his cats because our cats and his cats did not get along when we first moved back down here. So Greg just moved out to the bonus room. I told Scott, I said, we could just move Greg out, totally out to the bonus room and let that be like his little apartment on the side. But Scott doesn't want to give up his hobby space, even though he could have hobby space in Greg's room, but he wants that room. All right. And that's fine. We'll make something happen here. Oh, I kind of like having that. I really didn't need to do the cross stitch all the way around. I could have just done it, in the areas where this piece isn't going to go, or is going. I don't know what I was saying. So now I'm going to go back to that pink. No, let's get a different color. I really like using the variegated thread because then it kind of just looks cool. Let's pick a color. Pick a color, Becky. Any color. Let's do this green. I was listening to a bunch of 70s and 80s music the other night in real form. It was like these old music videos that were really good. And it was like, oh man, I haven't heard that song since probably the mid 80s. Okay. I'm going to do just a slips. One of those stitches. This is really hard to do with all this thicknesses. And the pins don't help. Okay. The weight of this is killing me. I'm trying to just do a little over the edge stitch here and there. Ouch. It's a lot of thickness right here. And this is why I end up having to take a break, because I could probably take these safety pins out because this stuff is not going to move now. It's got so much stuff embroidered on it. Yeah. What time is it? 8 o'clock. I'm going to go for just a few more minutes. I'm basically just yammering on. Brenda had to go? Okay. I'm going to move this so I can, this is the heart for the center of that. I'll just pin it on my little hedgehog. Move this down. Oh, silly Becky. There we go. Maybe. Oh, the thicknesses are getting me. All right, we'll just do it like this. So this was all started with a prompt game on fabric. And we used fabric markers and things to create the background. And then I've just started stitching on it, and I need to just, get to a point and just say, okay, that's good enough, and not get too crazy with it. think the only thing, after I get these flowers sewn down, the only thing I might add to it is the ink tints to kind of highlight the flowers. Maybe put a little yellow around the flowers to make it look like sunshine behind them. I don't know. Just throwing out ideas. Oops. These flowers really remind me of the little Shop of Horrors plant. Oh, bye, Kelly. My mother-in-law asked me yesterday, she said, who are you giving the bear to? And I was like, nobody. That's my bear. There's too many hours in that for me to give it away. I said, I'm going to keep it. One day I won't be able to do this work, and I would love to have that as just a remembrance for myself. I did find a crochet book that has on the cover, the whole reason I got the book was for the sweater that's on the cover. And I'm really tempted to try to make it. But I don't need to start another project until I finish all those that are in that stupid bin I found. I do need to work on my works in progress. So, Anne, after lunch, if you want, we can get together and sew our bears together. You and I. I'm thinking about maybe 1 o'clock. Just let me know. All she did in the video was sewed the arms, the legs, and the head on and turned him right side out. And she said the next video will be stuffing and putting the ears on. So we have some time to work on it. Okay. I see you're okay and raise you one. Greg went over when Piggy Park was on fire, and he took some pictures. And we had fire companies from, I think they said 5 different neighboring cities came to help with the fire. And I would imagine that was hard to put out with all of that pork grease, because it was in the distribution center where they make the sauce and cook the meat in great big smokers, walk-in smokers and cookers. So I don't know what they're going to do, because that's where they made everything. And that place has been there forever. Scott worked there as a teenager, and my mom worked there as a second job for a while, which is funny, is probably Mom and Scott probably worked there at the same time period. But Scott says he doesn't remember Mom, and she doesn't remember him working there. So isn't it funny how life overlaps sometimes? Makes me think of Barb Owen, how her life is overlapped with Studley Duck. I'm so glad I did the laundry yesterday. So today I need to go. I even changed the sheets yesterday, get myself ahead. So I need to go around, empty all the waste baskets, clean the litter boxes, clean the bathroom. That's my household work that has to be done today. I may run the vacuum around a bit in the bedroom too. We never made it to the restore for a couple doors. Maybe next week. We have to go on Saturday. They're not open on Sunday. Where did we go? Oh, we took, Scott had overbought on the subway tiles. And we thought, well, if they won't let us return them, which they're basically 3x6, regular bright white subway tiles that they carry all the time. And we didn't have our receipts, although Scott was able to find a receipt with some of them on it. So we were worried they weren't going to let us, return them because it's been a minute. And but they did. They gave us a store credit card. So we went and we bought the tiles that we did need, which I was thrilled to get that $46 back because that was a little chunk of change, $46. And once he puts those edging tiles up around the tub that we had to go get, the wall tile will be done and ready for grout. And then we need to just figure out the floor tiles, which it shouldn't take us too long because they're the kind that it's a small tiles, but they're on those grid pieces so that they're all hooked together. You just lay the 12x12 mosaic tiles down. It's a 12x12 square, and it's all these small pieces held together by a substrate like mesh. And then I need to get the plumbers out after he grouts it and get them to do the plumbing work, the shower head, the faucets on the tub and the faucets on the sink, and then reinstall the commode that we had in there. It'll be so nice to get the toilet off the porch. It really will. Oh, and we'll have another bathroom. So there won't be anybody fighting about or getting upset because somebody's already in the bathroom. One bathroom, 3 people. It's not very practical. Callie's marching around. She is not happy that I moved that bookcase. I didn't ask her before I did it. This is almost making me think I should have done a little trapunto on this. Technically, I probably still could, but I have a lot of layers here to cut from the back. Because you can, instead of leaving a little opening and stuffing from the front, you can make a little slit at the back if you're careful not to cut through at the front, and then just put a little stuffing in there and make it dimensional so they puff up. That's something to think about maybe for a different time. So now I only have 5 more to go. Stop it, Callie. Stop it. She put her ears back. You can't tell me what to do. Ow! And then I stabbed myself underneath. All right, I'm going to tie this off. And the back is, it's crazy back here. I really prefer a light colored lining in things. Everybody goes for black, but you know, when you're looking down in the bag, I know that a lighter color will get stained and whatever. But when you're looking into a bag, a dark lining makes it hard to see what's in there. So now we just got to add the little heart here on there. And I will do that off camera. And I will open this up so everybody can see it. That'll mean 2 out of all the flowers done. Move you guys back a little bit. Uh-oh, I have a pin in here. There we go. So that's my piece. So there you go. There's nothing like jumping in the shower and then somebody needs to use the bathroom. Yeah. So I'm going to keep working on these for a little bit. I might get up and get me some breakfast because I haven't eaten yet. And I will be at Janet's in about an hour. And hoping to get this stitched. So the next time we meet, we can start putting it together. All right. Bye, guys. And I'll see you later.